If you identify as a messy person, but you desperately want to identify as organized, but feel it's near impossible to change because you were born messy, and like other personality traits, you think you can't change, think again. Because in this video, I'm sharing how the seemingly uphill battle to go from messy to organized is easy and only requires tiny action. Plus, I'll share the most common mistake I see when going on this journey. There's a reason why even with ADHD, a household full of kids, and running a business, I'm able to live in a tidy home. It's not magic and it's far from perfect, but it's a system that works for me. And I recently learned it's also backed by research. Stick around to learn the exact system that works for me and keeps me tidy on repeat as someone who once identified as a messy person. Starting off, this might seem like a no-brainer, but you have to want to be tidy. Whether it's always been an aspiration for you or something you want to change about yourself, you must first have a desire to be tidy. You gotta want it. This is important because tidying up isn't a one-and-done event. It's a series of repeated behaviors that you'll take action on theoretically for the rest of your life. And to be able to do something for the rest of your life, you've got to want to do it. Once you have the motivation to change in this area, you build habits around it. To me, a habit is something you do with regularity, without really thinking about it. An example of a daily habit that you likely also have is brushing your teeth twice a day. Before I ever made brushing my teeth a habit, I had to want to do this. There's lots of reasons why I was motivated to do this. I didn't want cavities or bad breath, and I didn't want other health-related issues down the road in my life. Next, I had to make brushing my teeth easy. What makes brushing my teeth easy? First off, I have the right tools like an electric toothbrush and toothpaste right where I need it. Skill also makes it easy. I've been brushing my teeth for my entire life, so naturally through repetition, I'm a pro at doing it, which makes it easy. In the same way that you approach brushing your teeth, you apply the same process to tidying up, but with a narrowed focus. Becoming a tidy person is too broad and it covers too much ground, so you need to narrow down the scope to something small related to tidying up. An example could be putting your keys away after you return home. This is a small behavior that will lead you to become a more tidy person. If you're someone who frequently loses their keys, you'll want to create a habit of putting your keys in one place. Another example, if you're the kind of person who doesn't wear shoes in the house, is to put your shoes away after returning home. You might be thinking, this is so easy. Yes, I agree, and that's the point. You want these habits to be easy so that you increase the likelihood of it becoming a repeated behavior. In the book Tiny Habits, author and researcher at Stanford University, BJ Fogg asserts that small changes is all that is needed to make lifelong behavior transformations. When we take small actions daily, the repetition and smallness of the action makes it easy, which makes it more likely for us to keep doing the behavior on a consistent and routine basis. Plus, as we continue to make the small action, we start to feel good about ourselves. And that builds confidence, which then solidifies the behavior change. But how do I make sure my shoes are put away and my keys are put in the right spot? The answer is triggers, or what BJ Fogg calls prompts. Something drives each of us to action. Fogg argues that even though so many of day-to-day actions seem to just happen, no behavior happens without a prompt. Prompts are invisible triggers that get each of us into action. Let's go back to the action of putting my keys and shoes away after returning home. What is the prompt? The prompt isn't returning home. It's actually more granular than that. Because even after coming home from wherever I went, assuming by car, I have to turn off the ignition and pull the key out. Once the keys are in my hand, I can't then put the keys in my bag or then put the keys in my pocket. The keys must stay in my hand until I use them to open the front door. And then from there, the keys must remain in my hand until I take off my shoes, staying in my entryway. Once my shoes are taken off, I grab them and move them and the keys to where I have designated a spot. The trigger isn't coming home because a lot happens between coming home and putting the keys in the right spot. The real trigger is grabbing my shoes once I've taken them off, and this is what moves me into action to put the keys and shoes in their designated spots. Habit formation is this granular, and to become a tidy person, you build up a collection of small actions or habits, all leading to become a more organized person. But this is where it starts, tiny actions, and this is where most people get it wrong. Instead of taking tiny actions, they instead leap into these big ones, which is the biggest mistake I see when people are trying to get on their tidying journeys. Once a pang of motivation to tidy up hits you, you go all in, turning the world and your home upside down in an attempt to organize your entire life. This is a recipe for disaster because the scope is too big for lasting change. You're expecting habits to form overnight when we all know it didn't take one night to be in the situation you're in. Plus, once you're in the thick of it all, you inevitably run out of steam and the overwhelm knocks you flat. At this point, demotivated and feeling defeated, you stop tidying up altogether, and this only reinforces the thought that you can't change your messiness because it's part of who you are. Even if this describes your past behaviors to a T, I want you to know hope is not lost. You can still take small actions that lead to living a more tidy life using the system I laid out for you in this video. To recap, you have to want to become tidy. From there, narrow the scope of behavior change to some small action. Identify small actions that you can take that are reasonably easy to do that lead to living a tidy life. Identify the triggers or prompts that help you move into action. Then repeat. The strategy I share in this video can be applied to just about any habit change you want to make, whether it's getting more sleep at night or losing 10 pounds. If you want more information on BJ's methodologies, I highly recommend his book, Tiny Habits. It's very step-by-step with loads of examples to inspire. If you're just getting started with tidying up, grab my free decluttering checklist. The link is in the description to this video to instantly download. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos just like this.